And welcome back to SA Sports Show. I'm Greg Anderson and Barry. Diamondback Fighting Championship. We got Greg in.
Yeah.
We had a chat into a big fight. I think it was just a few months ago, wasn't it, Greg? At Adelaide Oval.
Yep.
That was a cracker.
Yep.
Absolutely a cracker. So you've got another one coming up at the Golden Grove Rec Centre.
Yep. So we've got our Golden Grove Rec Centre show, which is a different version from our pro show, which we normally show at Adelaide Oval. So this is our mixed martial arts rising star.
Yep.
So just a platform for the amateur fighters in SA to get out there and compete. And that's coming up, on June 23rd. So it's a Sunday evening show.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you, because the one at Adelaide Oval was a pro show. That was was all professionals and it was full on.
Yep.
But this one is just for blokes coming up, blokes having a crack, or like you called it, rising.
Yeah, rising stars. So it's an opportunity for athletes who might not necessarily want to compete on the big stage just yet, or might feel a bit hesitant to go out there and compete in front of 1,400 people. Yeah. So they certainly want to get out there and try it in a smaller hand and just
Is that part of the? Is that a problem that you find with a lot of fighters, that they don't want to fight yet in front of 1,400, or they're good enough, but maybe they feel a little bit intimidated by
I certainly think that there would be some intimidation that sort of comes into it. I can't speak for most athletes. Everyone sort of goes through their own process, willing to sort of get in there. But it could be something, like some people, it's like playing AFL and like that. You don't want to go there and embarrass yourself. And unfortunately, in the industry that they've chosen to pursue, you can be all over in 15 seconds.
Oh, that's the thing.
So what about you? When you first fought?
Yep.
So take me back to 10 minutes before.
It's a good call, that.
Take me back to 10 minutes before you stepped in the ring.
My very first fight. Well, to be quite honest, I'd been training and prepping, and my very first fight fell through on the day before my fight. So then I had to wait a little bit longer. So I've then
which is worse.
It was disappointing, to say the least, because you kind of psych yourself up for it. But then we got to the next one. And to be quite honest, about 5 minutes before I was about to walk into the cage, I've sat down and I've just gone, what am I doing? I don't know this bloke. He's done nothing wrong to me. I've done nothing wrong to him, and we're about to get in there and obviously
get it on.
Just to see who's the better fighter or a better athlete.
And it's funny you say that, because as a spectator, which I really enjoy watching the sport, I quite often go to the Arca Bar and sit down with a couple of mates and watch on the big screen, and you go, well, you know what, this bloke's done nothing to that bloke, and they're trying to get themselves up. And then even my thought process goes out the window. Get into it, boys. Just smack smack into each other, and it's just even as a spectator, you forget about that part of it, because the professional athletes, they've been trained for it. There's no worry about feeling sorry for one another. They're ready to go for it now.
I think that's probably the key point. Like for me, when I get in there, I just want to compete. It's just to test myself against another human being who's in exactly the same situation as I am. There's never any malice in it. There's never any hatred. You don't, obviously in some cases there might be, but for myself professionally, I've never come across someone who I don't like from across the cage.
But you see that respect, Greg, don't you? You see that at the end of the fight. You see them belt the living suitcase out of each other for 3 or 4 rounds, and then at the end of it, there's a hug. There's a hug, and you beauty, mate. You beauty, terrific.
You go out the back and you share a beer.
Thanks for the broken nose. I really appreciate it.
Let's go back to Adelaide Oval, because it was a fantastic success. I had a lot of friends that went along and watched some of the fights, which firstly were fantastic. But the venue itself, it has to be one of the greatest stages in Australia.
Certainly, obviously for our athletes to be able to compete in an environment and in a professional environment that if it's 50,000 people plus in there for a big AFL match, and obviously that gets quite well frequented or visited over the course of winter, and for our guys to be able to go in there and obviously feel the same sort of aura and presence that the Oval permits.
That's the key, isn't it?
I think it kind of heightens people up and allows them to sort of feel a little bit more, have a greater expectation for what they're going to produce on the night.
And that was a sellout, of course. So.
Sellout. So we've been very fortunate when we secured the venue that we've had a lot of support from the locals who get along to our shows, and obviously guys that come interstate as well. So.
And you've got another one coming up there, haven't you?
Our next pro show is going to be in October, so October 27th. So just to round out the year, so we've done 3 shows this year. So we had a pro show at the start of the year, amateur show to help support the local guys coming through, and then another pro show at the end of the year.
But the Golden Grove, June the 23rd.
June 23rd,
So if you've heard of someone that's had a bit of a dust up, say at Albion Oval.
Hey, not having a crack at me here, are you? Or,
Well, having a bit of a crack. Can we get these two blokes in the ring? In the corner's Barry Curtin.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to find that other bloke.
He won't get out of hospital for a couple of weeks.
What, in a celebrity sense? In a celebrity sense, we could probably put a celebrity show.
We could do that.
But
that'd be terrific.
most of the guys that get in there, obviously, we have a pretty strict vetoing process, obviously, and very very strict medical process, and that people can sort of get through. It's certainly not a case of we just walk through the car park after a footy match. You go, you guys going to get it on? No. Like obviously the guys are well trained. most people put in about a 10-week camp.
Well, we see that now, don't we? You see how professional they are on UFC, and you watch some of the pre-match, and their training. Wow, they train for this fight for months and months, and they've got doctors around, they've got physio, they've got the best of the best, getting that athlete up to represent himself at his very, very best.
Yeah, well, it's certainly fighting is probably one of the most individual team sports I've ever been involved in. Like I've obviously being in South Australia, I've grown up playing footy, and I've played a few other sports throughout my time, and obviously. You're an individual when you're getting in there and competing, but you certainly need a great team behind you. Like obviously, a lot of the gyms out there that are starting to build those sort of great teams. Like I might train out of Cardiac Flex under Craig Ike. We've got a really good team, and without the people behind me supporting me, then I wouldn't be able to get in and do what I want to do. You've got guys like Element and SA Judo who are now producing some really great, some great athletes as well coming out. You've got ISO Health, which are producing great athletes. You've got United MMA. You've got Matrix MMA, M16 from down in the southern suburbs as well. These guys are all getting together, and you'll start to see that. One of the things that the Cardioflex has started to introduce is we've gone and got ourselves a wrestling coach, and have now a wrestling coach come in, because mixed martial arts itself is not necessarily a sport on its own. It's a requirement, like Rikers, so where Anthony comes from, he's a great boxer, and that's primarily been a boxing gym, and then they've sort of branched out into other platforms and other areas for their athletes to go and compete. So, which is fantastic.
That's interesting, because I think that what this sort of fighting has done, it has helped to resurrect boxing in a sense. Boxing went through a period where it was as flat as a tack. There was nothing happening in the world of boxing 2-3 years ago. Now it's massive. Now boxing all of a sudden is back up, right up there.
Certainly a level of hype behind it.
But along with the UFC but I think that's got a lot to do with it.
McGregor was wonderful what he done, I think, to
I just think that it's resurrected a lot of those types of sports, like your judos and your wrestling. But boxing has really just sort of gone bang in the last 12 months, if you like, 18 months maybe. Now you've got really great fighters in every division that are well worth watching. Well worth watching. And I just think that the success of UFC and all this has had a lot to do with it. What you're built like the proverbial brick, whatever.
Yeah, you must be the heavy.
What are you?
So I fight as a heavyweight.
I thought you might.
When I do compete. So my ceiling's 120. I haven't touched that yet.
So what is your weight?
Currently, I weigh 113 kilos.
113.
Yeah.
To be in the heavyweight division, you have to be.
Luckily for me, it's over 93 and under 120.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. So you're sitting there quite well, actually.
So I don't know what a weight cut's like.
So you're still fighting, present. You'll be fighting.
I don't fight in SA anymore. No. Trying to run the shows is a little bit hard and get in there and compete. But I do hopefully try to get a few more opportunities before I hang up the gloves, so to speak.
Fantastic.
Well, I just worked out that I'm in the heavyweight division.
Well, I'm gonna starve myself, so I'm in the one below. I'm not fighting this bloke, bloody honest.
That's right. No.
Greg, thanks very much for coming in.
Good luck with these shows, mate.
And all the best for June the 23rd at Golden Grove. UFC, as we know, it's taking the world by storm.
You'll advertise that, no doubt.
But more importantly, what you put on in Adelaide at Adelaide Oval was absolutely fantastic. You're right, for the athletes, which was great, but also the spectators' point of view as well, and it was done very classy. So well done, and all the very best for your career as well.
Good luck, mate. Thanks.
Back after the break.